Hello and welcome back to Become a God. I hope you guys enjoyed the Season of Aurora tournament that was on Saturday. You guys can check out the VODs for that on twitch.tv/Faeria TV. And we crowned our first competitive champion of the first season of the Faeria World Circuit. Very exciting stuff. This episode, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be taking that spicy brew I was talking about last week for a spin on the ladder, and it is a tri-color deck, which I'm still refining as I go. So I'm still trying to figure out what this build wants to do. The list I have here is the final list that I played with by the end of the episode. So this list is, you're going to see some different variations as we build up to that final game. And yeah, I feel the deck's okay. Definitely not a tier 1 deck, but it is quite fun. Once you get the deck, when the deck starts getting going, it's very, very hard to stop because you get so much removal. You get Frog Tossers, you get like the Blazing Salamanders, Garadan, and you get the Gemshell Tortoise. But let's get into some matches and see how the deck performs. Alright guys, into our first match. Not looking too bad here. We have a Ground Shaker and a Bone Collector. So I'm just going to throw the Frog Tosser and get a Frog Tosser back, because why not? And yeah, we've got a decent hand to start things off. We have a Bone Collector, which is really good. It's going to allow us to start harvesting Faeria nice and early. And that is one of the goals here, you know. This is why I put in the 3 Bone Collectors and 3 Recon Revelers and the Wood Elementals as well, because I just wanted to be able to collect Faeria as early as possible. And it looks like our opponent is going to shift sides with this Sky Captain. Okay. So we'll take the Explore. We'll go for a Mountain. And then we can get another Mountain here, drop the Ground Shake, and collect off our own wells. And that's generally what I've done with this deck. I've played it in a more control style, where I've collected off my own wells. I just kind of let my opponent come to me. It's a little bit more different with a Sky Captain deck. No pirates involved, as far as I know. And yeah, because these guys will accumulate value over time, which is something I really don't want to have to deal with. But I don't feel like I have a choice, really, unfortunately. But you know what? I'm just going to apply some pressure here to the left side by going for the Wood Elemental, just so I can push my Ground Shaker up further and just force this out of the double collection spot. This Sky Captain might be a braver and might move in here, which does line up with a power-up. If I pick up like an Elderwood Embrace, or if I pick up a Flame Burst, that would work out really nicely as well. So we'll see what happens here. Two Sky Captains in the early games. Really good. No, this Sky Captain doesn't care. This Sky Captain ain't afraid of a Ground Shaker. I'm assuming there's a Last Nightmare going to come down on this side. It's absolutely fine. Last Nightmare. Okay, so Last Nightmare taking care of our friend. And now we can just Flame Burst this. That's really good. We can even go for a lake. So let's... I don't want to really connect the land to the Wind Soldier. Maybe I push up this side. Actually, I want to shift these around. Because then if this moves down, I can Ground Shake the left side and finish it off with the Wood Elemental. That's the plan, at least. So doing a little shift here. I could even Frog Toss this as well. I also have, but I probably want to keep Frog Tosser for the next Sky Captain. I know we've already seen 2, so the chances of seeing the last one is pretty slim. But yeah, we'll see if we'll keep this just handy for now. I don't want another Sky Captain to get out of control on this side. But if this retreats, we can just use the Frog Tosser to finish it off, which is pretty nice. So yeah, we're going to get a Manta Rider here, which is going to be able to double collect. Don't really like that very much. So I'm thinking... Oh, it's a shame we can't play the Bone Collector here. Let's block that double collection with the Frog Tosser. Not bad. So we're just the whole point of this is just to starve my opponent at Faeria. I'm going to collect off this side pretty convincingly, which is nice. If the Soul Drain comes down, it does allow my opponent to double collect. But I do have a Ground Shaker follow-up potentially. Maybe something even better than that. Maybe another Flame Burst, that would be really nice. Just getting another Flame Burst, you know, shooting down that Manta Rider and carrying on from there. Yeah, it looks like the Soul Drain is coming out. Okay. So I've got value out of this Frog Tosser, so I don't really mind if the Soul Drain comes down. I killed a Sky Captain, and I also soaked up a Soul Drain. That's pretty good in my books. So I'm probably just going to do the shimmy again, get the Wood Elemental here, move the Bone Collector back, just in case this wants to come in. And then if this finishes off my Wood Elemental, I get the power up, I can then Ground Shaker to finish this off. So lots of good options moving forward there. I could just Ground Shaker now, but I don't think I want to. I feel like I want to just draw some cards. And just like gear up towards, maybe just gear up towards a Gem Shell next turn. Because we're both collecting off 2 wells, which is, we're quite even, all things considered. And giving myself a Gem Shell next turn could be really strong, depending on what I pull. It's interesting because Manta Rider didn't get buffed by the Sky Captain, and there's a Soul Drain in hand. I didn't see which card that came from, which part of the hand. You guys probably would notice that now watching back. So it's curious to see like what massive creatures are there. So the Windborn Champion's ripped off the top there. Looks like he's just going to go for the Frog, which works out for me because I have the Ground Shaker, and then I can finish that off with the rest of the Wood Elemental. Where can this go? Yeah, we're going to go for Ground Shaker. As much as I would like to go for the Gem Shell, I think taking the Ground Shaker here is absolutely fine. Could pack a Bone Collector behind. That's an option. But I feel that's... yeah, I want to try and play Gem Shell next turn. I know I was gearing towards it for this turn I just played, but the circumstances changed because the board state changed, and I had a better option than the Gem Shell. Another mobility trick, going in for the Bone Collector. Very nice. But I do have another Ground Shaker, which kind of works out. Or even Elder would Embrace. Faeria left to work with. What's going to be the follow up here? Could go for another champion. Go for the Manta Rider. So again, like, I would really like to follow up here with the Gemshell Tortoise, but I feel that the Ground Shaker is once again better, and I would like to develop a mountain on the right side here so I can block this from double collecting. The problem is if I go for the double collection block, I make the Bone Collector a little worse. Because I can move down, I can Bone Collector, or I could actually move across and then Bone Collector and clear this. Maybe I don't bother Bone Collecting, maybe I just take the Faeria, play the mountain, clear this, play the mountain, drop the Ground Shaker in this spot, move this into double collection. I'm getting 2 power-ups on this, but it doesn't really matter while this is on the field, so... yeah, we're just going to do that, I think. I feel this is probably the better option. Because now this can't collect off any well without a mobility trick. I could play the Bone Collector behind, but the Manta Rider kills it, so I want to keep my Bone Collectors as a way to come back into the match if I fall behind, just to have a cheap Harvester to drop down. I still have Recurrent Revelers to go through as well, So, you know, maybe I can combo off a Bone Collector and a Reveler with a Salamander in the late game. I feel that this is just a little bit better. I'm playing to the strength of my hand, but I'm also playing to what I can see on board. You know, I don't want to make these Bone Collectors vulnerable in that way. So, yeah, let's see what's happening. Let's see what follow-up play my opponent has. We know they can be 5 Faeria with a collect off the Manta Rider. That could go +1 into... Yeah, it could go +1 into a Last Nightmare. Yeah, so could collect the Manta Rider +1 Nightmare the right side Grand Shaker, and then just clear the left side Grand Shaker, keeping the Manta Rider in the double collection position. That's a pretty strong follow-up. Yep, just trades him off. If there's a pass here, I'd be pretty happy with that. Sagittarius! Little unexpected, I will admit. Alright, +1. Let's see what our turtle friend has in store for us. Ho ho ho! That's pretty good. 4 Faeria, 8 damage, and potentially 2 4x plus 2 2/2s. Can't really complain about that. That's pretty good. There are some pretty awesome pulls off Gemshell Tortoise in this deck. Like, some of the worst ones are like Recurrent Reveler, Bone Collectors, Wood Elementals, but they have been relevant for me in previous games where I've, you know, held off my opponent from finishing me off with like double Wood Elemental, or I've put double Bone Collector down as blockers, and then I'm powering up another Bone Collector as that one's being cleared. But when you hit stuff like Elderwood Embrace, Flame Burst, Ground Shaker, Frog Tosser, you know, Blazing Salamander, other gem shells, Garadan, Yakapult, Emperor's Command. There's so many good cards Gemshell can pull in this list, just because we got access to green as well, which opens up, you know, the Frog Tossers, but also opens up those Elderwood Embraces as well. Pretty good. I really like it. Oh, this is beautiful. Hopefully it's not another Wind Soldier, actually. What is that? What is that? I don't like this. Don't like this at all. Might have to Frog Tosser it. I mean, if I build a land here, I can Frog Tosser these two for value. This can't really move anywhere safe, so I can move this down to block collection, and then yeah, I can make a land here to block this hitting my orb. So I'm making a lot of lands here, as you can see, which has made me consider Moby actually as a finisher for the list. But I want to get as much value as possible out of these guys, so we'll hit that one. Oh, actually, here we go. A little bit of protection. Gotta love it. Okay, so taking complete control of the board here. Thought it could go for an orb hit, but doesn't really help. If only the frog had spawned here, there would be no Faeria collection. This is going to move over safely. Maybe even have a mobility trick to come down, double collect, and finish off my Ground Shaker. But nope, it's not going to be the case here. An Elderwood Embrace is going to be pretty fantastic. Oh wow, actually. Maybe we just let this do what it wants and just go for a massive Salamander play. Can I even pull that off? So I need a land here for the Salamander. It's like a forest or something. Move this here, move this here. I'll move this here. So I can only get two. I can only get two if I go for the Salamander line. Maybe I kill this and block the double collection. Just like hit, make a land. Elderwood Embrace, finish this off. Because Elderwood Embrace on here trades. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. So yeah, let's get some neutrals down. jump here. Yeah, we'll take the Elderwood. Move this across, move this here. Yeah, we'll keep some Faeria. So we have this trades now, this trades now. There'd be a even if this mobility is across here and hits me that trade. So if this comes down and hits me in the orb, I can use a Salamander plus the Frog Tosser to finish it off because it'll gain +3. But oh well, I don't even need to. It doesn't gain any life, so I can just finish it off, which is pretty nice. As you can see, this deck is quite slow. It is a control deck, so I'm not going to be winning any games anytime soon. Like, it's going to take me a while to build up to these victories. It usually just starves my opponent out, because when I get to the late game, I start getting all my like crazy removal combos off. It's pretty awesome. Where's this going to go? This is the big question. Where are you going? Here. Okay. I want to get a lot of value if I can on this. I want to Salamander the 2/2 that pops out, but I need to figure out a good way to do it. I can +1, I guess. Like I can run this in. I can play this here. This lake's kind of awkward. Maybe I just Elderwood. Yeah, maybe just finish this off in Elderwood. Let's try and debate this over to here. Move this across the block. So I don't mind this actually killing my guy. Unless I put a Wood Elemental here. And if it runs into the Wood Elemental, I can use the Salamander on the follow-up. So let's do that. And that's going to be for our Yakapult a little bit later. Alright, collecting off 3 wells. Looking pretty good. We have a lot of lands. I could probably put Moby in here as a finisher. I don't think that would be too bad. Well, you know what? I'm going to do that next game. I'm going to drop the Emperor's Command and add Moby. Because I'm building a lot of lands to, like, position salamanders and other creatures. So I do kind of benefit from that. Flash Salmon. Oh, okay. I'll take the power up. Thank you. I'm going to take a draw. Let's see what we find. Okay, well, we'll gear up a gem shell for next turn. Just carry on protecting ourselves here. So that Ground Shaker's just being bodyguarded by the Frog Tosser in the bottom right there. Goes for a draw. We have Lethal with Salamander Flame Burst now. And then we have it. So game number 1 looking pretty good so far. Taking the win there. I'm going to add Moby. I think adding Moby for these long games is going to help. So we're going to drop the Emperor's Command. And yeah, just going to add Moby and see how he performs. But looking good so far against that Yellow Flyers build. Let's carry on and play some more matches. Alright guys, into another match. That one was quite long. Like, it took like 20 minutes to win that game. But I'm kind of used to it with this deck. This is, like I said, it's quite a slow burner. If you want to climb the ladder fast, I wouldn't recommend playing it. But if you want to play something different and something fun, you should really enjoy this deck. This deck snowballs pretty hard into the late game, which is quite nice. Seed of Paradise. Oh, really? Very interesting. Use this potentially as a Faeria harvester. Okay, we'll just take a mountain here and we'll pass. We'll go for the ground shaker next turn. It's going to collect first. Make that desert. And then start to develop aggressively towards me. There's green-yellow so far. Very interesting. Oh, wow. I'm getting smoked, guys. Right down the side with that little Seed of Paradise. We do have some answers, at least. Let's just take this land. I don't really want to ground shaker it because I can't flame burst, so I'm gonna flame burst and pass. We'll go for a ground shaker next turn. Nice little line here. Goes for a +1 into a Manta Rider. Very nice follow-up. We get a Rakoan Reveler. Okay. So then we can go into the Ground Shaker, then we can take the Reveler here and start collecting off 2 wells. So my opponent's going to double collect from this position, but we'll be able to double collect from this if my Ground Shaker lives. Which I'm hoping it will, to be honest. I'm not expecting Halim's Training. I'm not really expecting Campfire. Who knows? It's some green-yellow tempo deck by the looks of it, using the Seed of Paradise and the Air Elemental to push really aggressively down towards myself. So yeah, we'll see how this follows up. Maybe just a Soul Drain. Maybe Soul Drain will just pocket. No, it's gonna go kill the Reveler. No, it's not gonna kill the Reveler. That's madness. Why wouldn't you kill the Reveler there? Very interesting. I like the Reveler kill. Wow, that's a lot of deserts. What is the win condition here? I am very curious, that's for sure. Okay. I can take a forest here in the future. So I'm going to take a forest here for now, just to stop this kind of progression going down. I could Elderwood first, but I want this. I want to get some value out of this little Reveler. As a free fall, I can use this now to defend, and then set up another Reveler to start collecting on the well for me. So I do have some good options going forward. I just don't know what to expect. This is kind of where the Faeria ladder is right now. I don't really know what to expect. I don't play against the same deck over and over again. I play against a mad variety of decks. So it's very hard to make a meta call, you could say. It is very difficult. Oh, nice refund there. Like that. That's what I like. Big Faeria refund. Go for the lake here. Go for another Reveler. I'm not looking too bad, actually. I feel like things are okay. If a mobility trick comes down and we see like this zip kill, I'll be a little more sad there. But if I draw a Ground Shaker, I'm in a pretty good position. So I don't know. It's interesting. Desert. Another mobility trick. Moves across, finishes this off. So I can use the Frog Tosser to take care of this if I want to. But I just drew the Ground Shaker, so all is good. We can just go for the Ground Shaker. Flame Burst to finish this off. Move up here. Maybe take a lake. Let's take a lake over in the wells. Because then if I can get a forest here or a mountain, I can use the Revelers or the Bone Collectors. Actually, I'll probably get a forest here. I could go like forest here, wood elemental, forest here, and I have my defensive forest on this side as well. So yeah, this is a very interesting deck so far. This will probably come over here. And then I would strongly, if this just sits on this well, I'll strongly consider double neutral into Frog Tosser to make sure my frog lives. Or double neutral across here. Like I said, just to make sure my frog lives. It's going to be a Yakapult. This card has got very popular recently. It's one thing I've noticed. Ooh, hello Moby. What's going on? How's it going, buddy? Okay, let's collect. Double neutral up. Let's frog toss of this. And this also gives us a bit of reach on this card. I can double neutral across and Elderwood Embrace. Won't kill it, but you know, it's an option for the future. I'm probably just going to continue developing special lands here to make sure Moby can get something done. This is just going to hit me. Hopefully the Yak spawns here, and I can finish it off with the Ground Shaker. Could be a mobility trick, could be land into like Fanatic, move this across, and then shoot my Frog, placing like a Yak here. But again, I can just finish that off, and I can clean up the Fanatic with the Ground Shaker. Swordfish, okay. See, look at these decks, they're so cool. Like, just loads of interesting ideas coming out of Faeria right now. But like I said, it can be very hard to pick a deck to play if you want to climb, because you don't really have an idea of what you're going to play against. Nothing is that clear, unfortunately. So I think my intention here is probably just to swallow this. It's a shame I can't get here. I do want to set up for the Sky Whale. I'm probably just going to swallow this. So let's use this frog to get some Faeria. Yeah, let's use the frog to get Faeria, I think. And just get a shot across. Let's stick the Bone Collector down, because a combination of a Ground Shaker and a Bone Collector is enough to finish off the Swordfish. Which is pretty good, I think. We'll probably just see a shot here, but then we'll need to see it. Then I'm kind of forcing my opponent to build a land here. Oh, I should have moved down. That was a misplay. Yeah, I should have moved down to stop my opponent collecting the Faeria. So a little bit of a misstep from me there. I'm giving my opponent an extra Faeria to work with, and then standing on my mountain, which kind of sucks, but that's fine, because Bone Collector's going to finish this off. That's the plan. This can move up, kill this. Feels good. And then we can just Moby this on this well, and then we have a 6/6 applying pressure. What's this card? I don't know. Could be anything, really. So far from what I've seen with this deck, we've got Swordfish, we've got Yakapults, all sorts of nonsense. So I'm not going to try and guess what my opponent plays, unless it's a removal card. Mistral Guide, okay. Ooh, hello. That is a very cool draw. I like that. That's a good draw. But I really want to set up the Moby. I want to stop this getting value, so I'm going to do that. That's not going to change. I can get the aggressive mountain here, and then I just Sky Whale the Yakapult. So we've eaten the Yakapult here. We can push 6 damage next turn, which is pretty good. We're also in reach of the Mistral Guide, so that's another thing as well. We could just come across and hit the Mistral Guide with the Sky Whale. We can set up a Gem Shield next turn, and like, hopefully we'll get stuff like Flame Burst. Do we get a few Flame Bursts off that? Frog Tossers. I'll take Blazing Salamanders at this point. Any kind of removal from a Gem Shield Tortoise would be greatly appreciated. I'd be well up for that. And a Flash Wind across the place. Okay. Wind Soldier? Soul Drain? Okay. Puts the Yakapult in a pretty vulnerable position. So we can move this down so we're not in range. Then we can go for the gem shell tortoise. Do I still need to defend? Probably. So yeah, let's just go for it here. There's a lot of little revelers. That's cool. I know where to play them right now. Let's take a draw. And a frog tosser. Okay. Alright, we can just chill. We're collecting off 2 wells. My opponent's collecting off 1. I'm at 13 life, so I'm bleeding a little bit, but not too much. I could probably afford to go down to 9 at this point. I'm not expecting like a load of haste creatures to finish me off. Yakapult might move onto the lake, but then moves into range of my ground shaker. So maybe there's just going to be a wind soldier or something to finish off my ground shaker to make sure that can't die. But I'm going to frog tosser. I'm probably just going to frog tosser the Yakapult now, and then finish it off with the bone collector. I'll gain a power up, which should be pretty good. Maybe a crystal flower. Could be a crystal flower. Why would? Oh, it's a tiki piper. Okay. So I can use the Yakapult. Sorry, I can use a frog tosser on the Mistral Guide. It will die. I will then. So I move this here. I can then hit this into this. It gives me +1. I can then Yakapult here. Frog tosser here. The frog tosser dies. I gain a power up from both of these. I can clear the Yakapult, and I can probably just continue to move this into double collection. So yeah, let's do that. And then we'll set up a collector here. We'll set up a collector here. So we're potentially quad collected going into the next turn, which is pretty cool. Gonna have a lot of Faeria to work with, means we can draw more cards and then get more gas. And then those blazing salamanders could be very deadly. Could be very, very deadly now. So this is a fantastic salamander turn for me. If I can just draw that salamander, drop a land here, move this across, 2 damage, +2, finish it off, and then have, you know, something that's going to refund me a fair amount of Faeria if this gets removed. So it's looking pretty good. Don't draw the salamander, unfortunately. It's kind of sad, but what we could do, you can kill the 1/1. So we can take the collection here, kill the 1/1, take a land, wood elemental, take a land here. Kill this, collect from here, bone collector. Gift of Rakoa might be pretty good in this as well. See, I'm still trying to figure out the list. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with my win conditions and stuff. I currently have a Yakapult in here. That could be easily become a Gift of Rakoa, and then when I go when I go for a big wide board like this, I can have like a massive power up on one of my Revelers. I'm currently only running the Elderwood Embrace. So Moby was okay in this matchup as well. So I still have a lot of testing to do this build to see where I want it. Like I could drop like a Blazing Salamander, and I could drop, say, could drop the Yakapult, and then I could play the 2 of Gift of Rakoas. So lots of cool little options going forward. So this clears this. I finish this off. I can Elderwood Embrace this, and then I can finish off the Manta. So looking pretty good there. We get to take a tasty draw here. Ooh, a Salamander. That's pretty good. Can I collect any more? No, that's a shame. I would Wood Elemental, move this across, and just Salamander the middle. Unless I run this in. If I run this in, I'll gain the Faeria to be able to make that play. Yeah, because I make 4. I have 1 Faeria remaining. So I could run this into like the Yakapult, and then the Salamander can go off and do all sorts of great things. It's not really necessary though, unfortunately. I think I just run this in, and then just run this in and run this in. Or maybe I salamander behind. So I'd like to Elderwood here. Yeah, let's do that. So we run this in. Gain power up, move this across. Elderwood. This guy. We move this across here just in case this gets cleared. Yeah, finish this off. Finish this off. Blazing Salamander. Finish this off. Feels good. Add a cool little cluster there of creatures for a strong Blazing Salamander play, but I think I just got the most out of it in this line because I wanted to make sure I maintained the board on the the left-hand side by clearing out the Manta Rider in that way. But pretty good so far. It's a cool deck, right? It's a bit slow, but when you get going, it can be very, very threatening. So let's move on to the next match. Let's keep Gift of Recall in mind. That's something we potentially could switch out in a future episode or in this episode, see how it feels. But let's get into the next game and carry on testing this deck and see if the changes we've made with the Moby still pay off. Like, it's hard to say just yet because I've only used it in one match. I do need some more matches to get an idea of whether the card is going to be good enough. So yeah, let's get into another match. Alright guys, last match of this episode. Let's just throw all this away. We're trying to find an early collector. We do pick up the Recon Reveler, which is very nice. Let's get this little guy down. I'll start collecting. So what changes did I make? I cut one Salamander, one Frog Tosser, and a Yakapult, and I added 3 Firebomb in hopes to have just more removal on hand to control the early game, instead of going for the more greedier pieces removal that require more lands. My Campfire here. No? Doesn't care about Campfire, okay. We'll let this collect. I'm not too bothered. So yeah, I'm hoping the Firebombs will help us in the early game against those Sala decks like the Red Combat we just played against. Okay. I like to have Forest here, this is the thing. So I think I will just do that. I'll just take the Forest. Right now this is my only collector. Now if I Elderwood Embrace this, if I get Choking Sands, I get a reasonable refund. If I get Soul Drained, it's going to be pretty sad because I don't have a follow-up. So I am going to Elderwood this in advance. Just to play around the Soul Drain removal. And then if I do get Choking Sands, at least I get a decent refund. I spent 5 Faeria, I'll get 3 Faeria back. So I'll basically get back what I paid for the Elderwood, but I do lose the card, which is a little sad, but I'm trading like the Elderwood Embrace for the Choking Sands. I'm just guaranteeing I have a collector in this position. Alright, so Manta Rider showing up for some fun. What do I want to do here? I quite like Flame Burst in this and then Ground Shaker. Because this lines up a pretty tasty Salamander line on these two if they get too close to me. I also want to protect my Ground Shaker. Now I'm a little vulnerable to Campfire mobility. But then at least my opponent loses the entire left side of the board. So I could get on board with that. We could see land in... We could see Kaleem's Training to finish off. We could see land Wind Soldier Campfire. But I've got rid of the Manta Rider. I don't really want to have to deal with that card just yet. I'm curious to see what comes down. Rakar Sky Captain. Okay. Is this going to get campfired? That's what I'm curious about. Probably just play the Campfire to make sure these trade. And then I'm going to take a mountain, an extra mountain to Salamander, just to finish this off, but also power up my Ground Shaker back up to full life. But also get that additional 2 power as well, which could be relevant going forward. And then the Salamander has the potential to finish off the Sky Captain with the Elderwood Embrace on the follow-up. So I feel like we have some pretty good options going forward here. So yeah, we're definitely doing a lot better than we did against the last 2 opponents. This is our 2nd Sky Captain deck. It must be picking up in popularity, that's for sure. Okay, Emissary. Elder Embrace is going to make things pretty good for us here. So yeah, let's start moving up. I'm actually very tempted to just lake here and move this Reveler up so this can't escape me. Feels pretty good. Play the Bone Collector behind this, so if this does get killed, Bone Collector will get the power up. So looking really good as far as board control is concerned. A bit behind on Faeria, a bit behind on card advantage, but we are bullying our opponents off the wells. We're also you know, looking for these really good clears. Now if this moves back here, I can just lake and finish it off, but I think it's just going to go for the Faeria. It might just accept the fate of the Emissary in this position, but there's also the Salamander contesting the Sky Captain and this Ground Shaker moving up, which has a lot of power, which could be a big problem for my opponent. Oh, that worked out really nicely. Good mobility play there. I like that. Okay, I think we're taking draws here, guys, because I just need some gas. Firebomb, excellent. Okay, move up. We'll firebomb this. When I move up here, I'm a bit vulnerable to Wind Soldier with the Fanatic, so I think I'm just going to relax and chill out in this position. We're tri-collecting right now, so that's pretty good. That's assuming the Salamander lives. I'm not sure if the Salamander will live at this point, but I think double collecting is just fine as well. We're in a really good position. Our opponent has a massive hand, tons of Faeria, but currently retreating. You know, with a control deck here, the longer the game goes, the better it is for us. We get to draw the Gemshell Tortoise. We get to draw Moby as well. So we have, you know, we have really good late game. I'm not sure if Flyers can really match that unless they get, like, captains just... Yeah, unless they get, like, a few captains going. Double Soul Drain. Wow, okay. That was a massive Faeria investment there. Oh, good old, good old Altar of Souls. Okay, take a draw. Yep, we're getting rid of this. Get the Bone Collector down. Bone Collector can collect off the left-hand well for us. And we got rid of the Altar of Souls, which is pretty good. I was very fortunate there to draw. Ooh, nice Flash Wind. Let's eat up the Bone Collector. What's next? Probably not a Colossus. Maybe just like another Emissary or something. Oh, Slaughtering Shadow, of course. Frog Tosser. Really good pickup. Just can't afford it right now. So now our opponent is collecting off 2 wells. And gets to push 9 damage this turn if my opponent chooses to do that. Now, we know the Slaughtering Shadow is just going to die to the Bone Collector here. Now, that's a bit awkward. I don't like that. Because now if the Fnatic want... Oh, I guess if the Fnatic doesn't want to push damage, that's fine. So Ground Shake is a great top deck for us. We get to kill 2 guys. Wind Soldier. Finish up the Bone Collector. Okay. Yeah, so Ground Shake is the top deck we want. If not, I can go for a greedy... I could go for like a greedy Frog Tosser on the free one. Okay. We should just draw for the Ground Shaker. Alright, I can get on board with this. Do I go for the greedy Frog Tosser? Yeah, we're gonna get a bit of greed here. It does allow the Manta Rider to clear it, but my goal is for the 4-1 to finish off the 6-1. If not, this comes down, clears a 2-2, and then I Ground Shake it, and I just like wipe out both of these. A Colossus? Okay, I wasn't expecting a Colossus, that's for sure. Okay. This is not good. Alright, let's draw. Ground Shaker. Ground Shaker's awkward. But I think I just have to risk it. Yeah, we're kind of just banking on there's no extra removal here, because if I Ground Shaker... I mean, if I could kill this and Wood Elemental, and then this kills the Wood Elemental, this clears, hits me for 7, then I don't really kill this. So yeah, I feel like I have to just go for the Ground Shaker line and pray at this point. Because pray there's no removal for this guy. And yeah, we'll see what happens next. This could be the last turn, guys. I wasn't expecting a Colossus in a Flyers deck. Oh, there's a Campfire for the win. So, yep, that is going to be it for this episode, guys. Colossus saves the day with a Campfire and takes me out. So, mixed results overall. But, to be fair, the deck is quite strange. It isn't very conventional in terms of the metagame. And I'm pretty happy overall with how it performed. And that wraps up this episode of Become a God. I did have 2 other games which I was going to feature in this episode, but they were just kind of a blowout. I just kind of got ran over by rush decks, and it wasn't very interesting. So I decided to leave them out just to make the video a bit shorter. But overall, I did go throughout the course of recording this episode. I think I went 2-3 in the end, if you include the 2 matches I lost. But like I said, they weren't very interesting. It was just kind of my opponents doing very well with draws and just kind of running a train over me, which can happen, which is why I made changes. So I did talk about in the last match, I made a few changes. That was in response to getting blown out by rush decks, and I did end up adding those fire bombs and trying to make sure I had a lot of removal to answer some of the early aggression. But yeah, I am pretty happy with how this deck is shaping up. It does need a bit more work, a bit more refining, but it's difficult because the metagame is kind of all over the place right now, so I can't really add tech cards in because I'm not seeing a lot of one thing. I'm seeing a huge variety of decks when I play on the ladder. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. Hope you guys enjoyed the first seasonal cup for the Faeria World Circuit. It was a lot of fun, and you can watch the VODs over at Faeria TV over on Twitch, so twitch.tv/FaeriaTV. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Green, Blue, Red Control.